The hardest part of using any new software is adapting its requirements to fit into your workflow. This video will examine a few common barriers with using EndNote as an academic writer and offer help. EndNote is based on a simple and wrong idea. It believes that every time an academic person sits down to perform research and write a paper, it always happens in the same way and takes about an hour. You go to one computer. You go to a single licensed database that includes citations to articles and books. You perform one search and obtain results. From the abstracts, you know you'll need to cite all of these in your final paper. You export the citations from the database. You import the citations into EndNote. You open Microsoft Word. You write the paper, start to finish, in one draft and insert formatted citations while writing. You never save the draft and open it on another computer or share it with anyone to get feedback or input from a co-author. In this speaker's experience as a librarian, regardless of the academic field, this approach is not taken by any academic writer. Work happens on many devices and computers. You search a variety of databases and use a variety of publication types. EndNote only allows you to import citations from databases. You typically read the whole item before you decide to cite it, and EndNote cannot import citations directly from PDF files. You skip back and forth between these steps and perform some multiple times. Finding citations and writing usually are separated in time. The process of writing typically includes multiple authors or editors using their own computers. Given this, how can you fit EndNote into your workflow? The first thing to consider is to use EndNote, you have to build a library file that includes all the data of all the citations you want to reference or cite in the manuscript you are writing. Building a library file often poses some challenges. Make a decision now. Will I make an EndNote library slowly throughout my process, or will I use EndNote right before I start writing my first draft? Neither of these approaches are right or wrong, and both are used by successful academic writers. It's helpful to decide which approach you'll take when starting to use this software. One way to build EndNote libraries is to go slowly. Consider EndNote as a filing cabinet. Get into the habit of, whenever you're encountering a publication you think you might want to cite, save a copy of that citation into EndNote. It is not possible to drag and drop PDFs into EndNote, or have EndNote extract information from PDFs or web pages. You'll need to search for the citation in a database, export it, and import it into EndNote, or type in the citation manually. If you choose this method, you'll spend a short amount of quality time with EndNote each day. Another way to use EndNote is to build a library right before you start a writing project. If you use EndNote like this, save the full text of the publications you encounter and think you might refer to in some storage system. Even something as low-tech as a physical folder in your office. Before you start writing a specific project, build an EndNote library. It is not possible to drag and drop PDFs into EndNote, or have EndNote extract information from PDFs or web pages. You'll need to search for the citation in a database, export it, and import it into EndNote, or type in the citation manually. It can take some time to build a library, so if you use this process, be sure to give yourself plenty of time before you start writing. Another challenge with EndNote is that the library you create is stored on one computer. Most academic writers use a variety of computers or other devices to access relevant scholarly materials. If you use different devices to discover new publications, you'll need to develop a habit to get the citation data back to your primary computer with the library file saved on it. This can be technological. EndNote has a lot of tools and plugins to help with this, or it can be low-tech. Take a screenshot of the citation on your phone and later type it into EndNote. There is no single good way to manage this, as the techniques and tools available vary based on the exact device, operating systems, and software you're using, but EndNote is constantly innovating to help you share citation data across devices. Review their web pages and the help files to find tips for your situation. Another set of challenges with libraries arises when using EndNote to write. The purpose of using EndNote in writing is to manage citations. Insert a citation into the text of the manuscript, and it automatically creates a bibliography at the end of the manuscript. EndNote can also transform these in-text citations and bibliography into other formats. This only works in Microsoft Word, not the online Microsoft 365 program, and not in Google Docs or other word processing software. This can be a barrier for writers who prefer other software. In order to insert citations and transform them into different formats, the EndNote software inserts links between one specific EndNote library and one specific single Word document. Opening the associated Word document on other computers will break these links and render EndNote unable to make any changes. This means if you do the typical process of starting to write, adding citations, and then emailing the Word document to someone else, then getting it back with their changes, EndNote will never be able to transform these citations again. You can get past this by using EndNote in Word only as part of the final editing step. When you're writing and sharing a draft in any word processing software, use short placeholder citations that you and your co-authors understand. Once you and your co-authors are pleased with the text and ready to submit your manuscript as an assignment, a dissertation, or a journal submission, make a copy of your text. Open this copy in Microsoft Word. Go through the copy manuscript line by line and replace the placeholders with citations inserted from EndNote. This will also generate a bibliography at the end of the document. The citations in the text and the bibliography at the end can now be altered into the style you need using the EndNote tools. By making a copy of your manuscript, you can always go back to this original copy without any EndNote-generated citations to make further edits if needed. Since libraries are stored on one computer, working with teams to gather citations can be difficult. During the process of planning your research and writing project, select a single member of the team who is responsible for collecting citations from other authors, building an EndNote library for the project, and being the final editor who replaces the placeholder citations in the manuscript. This task is sometimes seen as rote, but it is valuable. Academic integrity requires accurate citations to track the dissemination of ideas and discoveries. These are some of the most commonly encountered problems with integrating EndNote software into research and writing processes, but if you encounter other, librarians can help you brainstorm ways to get around them. Contact the libraries with questions.